We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this channel through a donation. Hit the $ when you make a comment, and I'll get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. PATC community, do not be afraid to be a legend with your comments in the chat room and with your phone calls later in the show. The ACC complied to Judge Bledsoe's orders. I think the reason why I think they complied is because it was released, and I've been going over it, and some parts are still redacted. Remember, we did a live show yesterday. We went through what was redacted in the complaint that the ACC filed because they don't want to let trade secrets between ACC and ESPN be revealed. And Judge Bledsoe said, well, you gotta, most of it, Judge Bledsoe granted the ACC to keep it sealed. But some parts they had to unseal it. And they did not unseal everything that we thought they were going to unseal. But yet it was released. It's out there. A lot of people don't know where it is. We got it here at Peek Around the Corner. We're probably the only college football YouTube channel that's covering this. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. I'm going to show you. This is difficult, right? I'm going to flip back between screens. I'm going to show you what is redacted and per the order what was supposed to be unredacted. And then I'm going to show you what was actually released today, April 15th, today, to comply with the orders of Judge Bledsoe. Some of the stuff is unredacted, but some of it's still not. And I talked to Justin Lucas. He helped me with this. We were thinking that maybe another version's going to pop, but why would this be released? It must have Judge Bledsoe must have been okay with what the ACC delivered him today, because it's out there. I'm going to use a phrase that the Florida State used. I still think the ACC is hiding the ball. ACC and ESPN is hiding the ball. And we're going to go through it. But the only, as far as I can see. Now, again, this was just released. I went through it as fast as I could. You all know I'm not the brightest bulb in the refrigerator, but I know where every refrigerator is and every location that I enter. But it seems to me the only phrases that were redacted in the original complaint, the amended complaint, the only phrases that were redacted that became unredacted today by Judge Bledsoe's orders in Mecklenburg County Court were the phrases of grant of rights fee, royalty fee, and rights fee. And I don't know what that royalty fee is. I don't know the difference between a rights fee and a grant of rights fee. And I'm not even sure the ACC knew the difference, because they redacted all these phrases and then they had to unredact them. But the big story is the numbers, the figure, the monetary numbers that we were led to believe was supposed to be unredacted, especially, I can't remember the exact paragraph 78, paragraph 110. I might be a little off on that. We're going to go through it. Those number figures are they're still under the black. They're still being redacted. I did a little John Cena there. They're still redacted. But yet Judge Bledsoe let it happen. This was released. It must have compiled enough to his orders. I don't know. Guys, I don't know. I'm going to show you what was released. I'm no lawyer. I am no lawyer, I can tell you that. Before we hit that, we're going to do a spotlight, spring spotlight. Our team for today that we're doing a spring spotlight is on Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. Just had a spring game. They just had a spring football game Now, last year, the Florida Gators, we predicted it was going to go pear-shaped. I think we predicted them to go 5-7. They ended up 5-7. 3-5 in the SEC. They missed the playoffs. They missed a bowl game. There's no question about it that Napier's got to get the Gators into a bowl just to have a chance to survive his third year as the head coach of the Florida Gators. Their defense last year went belly up. Their secondary was crushed at the end of last year. The last 5 games of the regular season for the Florida Gators, the defense gave up an average of close to 39 points a game. Now, Graham Mertz, the quarterback, played a whole lot better than I thought he was going to play. He surprised me. I took the L on Graham Mertz. I'll take it again today. He had a pretty good year last year for the 5-7 Florida Gators. They lost their top running back who went to Georgia, transfer, ETN. But they had a freshman running back who shined. They had DJ Legaway, the quarterback, shined. He's going to be QB number 2 behind Graham Mertz. They got some young cats. They're going to shine. They brought in some transfers for the secondary. They had a middle linebacker this spring football game. He was hitting people like crazy. The wide receiver room is a little weak. We're going to go through a little bit over the Florida Gators right now. But first, and then we're going to get into our main story. Our main story. It looks like the ACC did comply to Judge Bledsoe orders. And then, before we get into your comments or phone calls, DJ Legway is dangerous now. Good gracious. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". Does he weigh 240 pounds? Maybe he's a little lighter, but he can move. He can move. He's got the arm. He's going to get some playing time this year. Even if Graham Mertz stays upright, doesn't get injured, DJ Legway has to play some. He has to play some. The wide receiver position for the Gators, Eugene Wilson, the possession wide receiver last year, he's coming back. Khalil Jackson, who didn't do much last year. He showed flashes. He's going to have to have a breakout season this year. Jaden Baugh is the running back I'm talking about. If you just Google it, just watch the highlights. Jaden Baugh had a couple, 3 impressive runs in the spring game, the orange and blue game. Jaden Baugh, freshman running back, he looks absolutely fantastic. Montrell Johnson and Webb, they're going to be the starting running backs this year. They're the guys who carried the rock some last year, especially Montrell Johnson. Their defense again last year, their secondary was a complete mess. Devin Moore, Jakeem Jackson, who I think is in his second or third year for Florida, he's got to come through this year for Florida Gators for that secondary to be successful. Their safeties, Castell and Thornton, especially Jordan Castell, they're the main parts of that secondary. The Gators did not tackle anybody last year. If you caught the ball, you were going to get some major yak on them. Yards after the catch on the Florida Gators. Big play after big play after big play after big play. Cam Jackson, the big nose tackle, he looks great on the field. He looks great coming off the bus, but he's going to have to produce. The Florida Gators, it's hard to say this because if you go through each and every team of the SEC, remember there's 16 of them this year. I think it's impossible for me to put the Florida Gators in the top 10. I can rattle off 10 teams just like that before I get to the Florida Gators. And that is if Florida plays all the way up to the ceiling. Maybe they 10th in the SEC. Do they get to a bowl game? Oof. I'm going to say no at this point. But they do have some young cats who look like they can play. Jaden Ball is one of them. They have Daniels, another freshman running back who's got a lot of potential. The Gators got some guys. Napier's got some guys in there, but man, this is going to be a tough year for the Florida Gators once again. Anyways, let me say thank you for everybody coming on in. And one other thing, before we get to at some point during the show, did you see that video of you remember this is a college football YouTube channel, no question about it. 99.99% of this channel is college football. However, and I've said this many times, there's 0.0001% of this channel that talks about things in the air that we don't know what they are. Did you see that video that I put out that's been out there on X about that object in the air over the state of California? A lot of people think it's debunked. Maybe it is. But I got questions about it, man, and I'm going to show you the video. There was 4 different videos of this object in the air. Is it a balloon? Is it a balloon? I'm going to show it to you later on in the show. But first of all, can't handle much more Florida Gator talk. Holy smokes. Look, we go across the country, coast to coast, scattershot, doing our spring spotlight. And then we're going to hit everybody again in the early summer. In the early summer. A crowded room for the Gators. Yeah, it is. They got about 4 running backs. They've got some talent. I'm not a... Graham Mertz has to come down a little bit. Last year he was great, even though the Florida Gators struggled. And I think they're going to struggle again this year. First of all, thank you, Expedition Greg, for your generosity. Holy smokes. Once again, Expedition Greg gifts a membership. Expedition Greg, you are hereby officially once again knighted Cloak and Dagger. I do appreciate your generosity. We did here at Peek Around the Corner. And Tumasta, you have been gifted a membership. Please say thank you to Expedition Greg for his generosity. And Tumasta, you are hereby Cloak and Dagger Knighted. Now, as a member, you can go watch our membership-only episodes. We dropped a Cloak and Dagger early peak episode 33 this morning. So if you are a member, I would go watch that as quick as I possibly could when it comes to G5 Conference USA. They want to make a decision before the end of spring and on something very important. So if you want to become a member, go to the link provided in the description box. Hit the link, then hit the join button and become a member of our college football Peek Around the Corner YouTube channel, Cloak and Dagger, early peak. We also dropped episode 389. For everybody to watch is a great article from Max Olson, The Athletic, talking about the 5 different categories of portaling. What team or what category is your team in? Is the team that you are a fan of, are they an NIL baron? Or are they a portal enthusiast? Or are they a portal desperation, kind of like what Colorado was last year, where you lose your head coach. You just gotta when you come in when your team has a new head coach, if your coach leaves, your team loses a lot of guys in the portal. Then you have to go in the portal in desperation and get as much guys who can play at this level as possible. Or are you a team that's more traditional, going to be more selective, don't really have the resources, the NIL resources, to just go all over the place and recruit the top players in the portal, but just try to get the one or two guys that you need? Or are you a fan of a team that's a portal denier? In other words, are you a fan of Clemson, for example? Anyways, it's a great article from Max Olson. We provide a link to that whole article in episode 389. Please hit the link and read the whole article at your leisure. We go through some of it. Great article. As the portal opens officially tomorrow, and KLS, pretty good wide receiver out of Penn State, he's in the portal. There's a lot of guys going to be dropping in there. We're going to be covering all that tomorrow or even later tonight. Okay, we're going to get into it here. Coy, thank you so much for your gifted membership to the community. Holy smokes. Coy, once again, thank you for your incredible, continuous generosity to peek around the corner. College football's peek around the corner. You are hereby officially knighted once again, cloak and dagger. And my prof, you have been gifted a membership, so thank you. I say thank you to Coy for his generosity, and my prof, I think you know how this works. You are a member, you are hereby a cloak and dagger knighted, and you can go to our membership only episodes. We dropped an important one this morning. They're all important. All the cloak and dagger early peak episodes are important. This one has to do with Conference USA, my prof, Coy the one. Thanks. Okay. Now, okay, we did the Florida Gators. We did the Florida Gator Spotlight. Okay, now this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be a challenge, but we're going to do the best we can. This is why we did the live show last night. Okay, remember, and I went through this as best I could. This was just released. I went through this the best I could before I flipped on the on button as we went live here. I know this is tough to see. I'll try to do the best I can. Paragraph 14. Paragraph 14. These agreements included an amended Multimedia Agreement 2014, which was superseded by a reinstated amended Multiple Media Agreement 2016, and an agreement establishing the ACC network as a joint venture. Under these agreements, ESPN has paid and continues to pay the conference a blank. The conference then allocates these blanks to its member institutions, including Florida State. Since signing the grant of rights agreement, Florida State has accepted more than blank in distribution under these agreements. Okay? So the first part of paragraph 14 is, under these agreements, ESPN has paid and continues to pay the conference and of course, I wasn't ready. And here it is. I hope you can see it. You probably can't. And it says these agreements included amended multiple media agreement 2014, with an agreement establishing the ACC network as a joint venture. Under these agreements, ESPN has paid and continues to pay the conference a rights fee, a royalty, and a grant of rights fee. So right here is what became unredacted. Under these agreements, ESPN has paid and continues to pay the conference a rights fee, a royalty, and a grant of rights fee. I don't know the difference. I don't know the difference between a rights fee and a grant of rights fee. And I don't know what they're talking about, a royalty. But these are the phrases that the ACC redacted from their original complaint. Those are the phrases throughout this newly released complaint per the order of Judge Bledsoe were the unredacted. Okay, now, if you go back, this was also supposed to be unredacted. The conference then allocates these blank to its member institution, including Florida State. Since signing the grant of rights agreement, Florida State has accepted more than in distribution under these agreements. We were expecting on a monetary value to be shown today. However, if you notice, this was just released before we came on live. Since signing the grant of rights agreement, Florida State has accepted more than blank in distribution under these agreements. It's still redacted. And it was supposed to be unredacted, as far as we know. Again, Judge Bledsoe must have accepted this because it's released. This filing is a new filing, ladies and gentlemen. This is April 15th. This is right before we came on live. Okay, we'll continue on. Now again, the early parts of this wasn't particularly important because it had to do with the multimedia agreements of 2012, whatever. I wanted to get to 2016, but we're going to cover it all. We're going to cover it all. It isn't too much. We're going to cover it all. Here is paragraph 43, the original complaint, 43, 44. The redacted parts were supposed to be unredacted per the order of Judge Bledsoe. Of myself and other people I've talked to, we believe that these were going to be unredacted. In exchange, ESPN agreed to pay the conference a blank, beginning in blank, which would blank the 2000 multimedia agreement, and then paragraph 44, in 2012, through an amendment and extension agreement, the ACC and ESPN agreed to extend the term of the 2010 multimedia agreement into 2027, increasing the blank to be paid such that by the end of the term, ESPN would pay the ACC for distribution to its institutions blank annually. We're supposed to get some monetary terms, right? Some numbers, some figures. However, going to the amended complaint, the refiled amended complaint, some of it was unredacted, but not the terms. In exchange, ESPN agreed to pay the conference a rights fee beginning in blank, which would blank. It's still redacted. Now, what was unredacted from paragraph 44 was again the phrase rights fee. Increasing the rights fee to be paid such that by the end of the term, ESPN would pay the ACC for distributions to its member institutions blank annually. This is still redacted. And from our understanding and other people that I've talked to, this was supposed to be out there. The numbers were supposed to be out. The judge Bledsoe ruled that it was arbitrary that this was redacted. But suddenly today, when it had to be released, it's still redacted. Parts of it, the numbers, the figures, the monetary figures are still redacted. Now, you let me know why that is. Again, this is all just happening. The national reporters probably don't know that this just happened. And maybe they're not interested. Some people are. But possibly some of them are watching the show right now, and then they're going to get on the case and let us know why some of this stuff is still redacted. Okay. We're going to get into what I figured was the more interesting elements to this. If you look at paragraph 70, in the middle of paragraph 70, in addition to incorporating the changes in the ACC's membership, this amendment also increased the blank. By the end of the term, 26 and 27, the total fees paid to the conference under this agreement would have been in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Also increased the blank. What did it say? It said the following. This is the new version that was just released before we came on live. In addition to incorporating the changes in the ACC membership, this amendment also increased the rights fee. The rights fee. Now, again, I'm not too interested in this part because this is the 2014 Second Amendment to the Multimedia Agreement. I think the next couple of slides are going to be more interesting to you. But again, it is the term rights fee that was originally redacted. Rights fee, grant of rights fee, and royalty. Those are the three words, the three phrases that the ACC redacted in their original amended complaint on January 12th. And the judge said, got to unredact it. But they did not unredact the monetary figures that they were supposed to do. So there is a story there. I just don't know what it is yet. Again, this just happened. This just happened, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now let's get to paragraph 73. This was the original amended complaint filed by the ACC. Following the ACC's acceptance of Florida State's grant of rights in 2013 and implementation of the Second Amendment to the 2010 Multimedia Agreement in 2014, Florida State received in its pro rata share of the blank payments from ESPN totaling blank of dollars. At no point did Florida State reject the distributions it received or contest the legality of the grant of rights. Okay, so Florida State received its pro rata share of the blank payments from ESPN totaling blank of dollars. So what was released today? Florida State received its pro rata share of the rights fee payments from ESPN, totaling millions of dollars. Again, it did not give, and it originally was, this was what it was, totaling millions of dollars. So nothing of interest there. Okay, now the last couple slides is what was information in the of ACC that had to do with 2016. And I think for pretty much all of us, this is of interest because this is when considerations, promises were made, whatever, to extend the grant of rights from 2027 to 2036. It happened in 2016. So the original amended complaint by Florida State, by the ACC, that they redacted some parts for public viewing. And by the way, there's a whole bunch of still unredacted parts. Besides the ones that Judge Bledsoe said had to be unredacted, in which some of them were and some of them weren't. If you go through there's a whole bunch still. The interesting part, the juicy parts, are still behind the black. Anyways, paragraph 78. As part of these agreements, ESPN agreed to extend and increase the blank until the establishment and launch of the ACC network, which ultimately took place in 2019. On July 21st, 2016, the parties executed an amended and restated ACC ESPN multimedia rights media agreement and the ACC ESPN network agreement. That's the ACC network agreement. Together, the ESPN agreements. Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive blank to distribute to its members in the form of blank payments, media rights payments, and revenues from the ACC network. If you were here for our live show last night, this was the part that I was most interested in. Right here, the blank payments. What was that? Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive blank to distribute to its members in the form of media rights payments, revenues from the ACC network. What is this redacted payments? What is that? Well, we got the answer. And I bet you can guess what it was. Right here. Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive, it's still redacted. Why? It's supposed to be unredacted. It's redacted. Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive blank to distribute to its members in the form of grant of rights payments, media rights payments, and revenues from the ACC network. So the term grant of rights payments was once again redacted. So for whatever reason, the ACC redacted the term grant of rights payments, grant of rights fees, and the term royalty from their original amended complaint. And this right here, still redacted. Now, Florida State knows what that is. Clemson knows what that is. But we're not allowed to see it. And I was under the belief, and other people were as well, that this right here was not going to be redacted today. Not any longer. But it is. And then the most, what I thought was going to be the most interesting part, the last one. The last one. This is the last slide we're going to show you because this was the last part that was supposed to be changed. G, under the grant of rights, the amended grant of rights and ESPN agreements, Florida State Athletics experiences unprecedented success. Since the execution of the amended grant of rights, the entry into the 2016 multimedia agreement, an extension of the option. I still don't know what that means. I do not know what that means. Is this the extension of the option in where ESPN has the option to decline? I don't know what that means. To decline ACC distribution rights for beyond 2027? I don't know what that is. Since the execution of the amended grant of rights, the entry into the 2016 multimedia agreement, an extension of the option, the establishment of the ACC network, which happened in 2016, and it officially got built for 2019, and the payment of a blank by ESPN, Florida State has received more than blank, and the ACC as a whole has received more than blank. The ACC redacted this. We were under the belief, because in Judge Bledsoe's order, it talked about how this was arbitrary, that these number figures should be released. Florida State, how much they got paid. He said it in the order. Well, what was released today? By the way, I just wanted to show you, because I'm not showing you the parts we were expecting. There's a whole bunch of redaction here. Okay, I'm not showing you those parts because we were not expecting, according to Judge Bledsoe orders, this wasn't going to be resolved. So I'm not showing you all that stuff. I'm only showing you the parts that, according to Judge Bledsoe's order, it's not supposed to be black anymore. Okay, just to make that clear. A lot of redaction, a lot of black on here. Okay. So, again, I just want to show you real quick. This was the original amended complaint by the ACC that they wanted to hide some stuff, okay, from public view. Since the execution of the amended grant of rights, the entry into 2016 multimedia agreement and the extension of the option, I would love to know what that is, if that's the 2027 decline of option by ESPN, the establishment of the ACC network, and the payment of a blank by ESPN, Florida State has received more than blank, and the ACC as a whole has received more than blank. So what did it say today? What did it say today? It said the following. The establishment of the ACC network and the payment of the grant of rights fee, that was unredacted, Florida State has received more than blank. And the ACC as a whole has received more than blank. Again, those two parts are still redacted. Now, I don't have this prepared because all this was released. I was scrambling for about 30 minutes. I wanted to come on live. I wanted to give you guys a peek around the corner. to this new filed amended complaint, supposedly complying with the orders of Judge Bledsoe. There's stuff here that's still redacted. I'm going to show you once I have a little bit of a time here. And maybe I'll try to do that right now. I'm going to show you the original order on April 5th. And a lot of people did a lot of legwork on this. These numbers were supposed to be shown on how much Florida State got paid. And none of it, again, today was shown. So to me, the fat guy from Minnesota, the ACC did not comply with Judge Bledsoe's orders, but obviously they must have because it was released today. The new 55 pages amended complaint. So, I don't know. Can someone explain that to me? Can somebody explain that to me? Buddy Broxton. This was another challenge. This was another challenge. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is cloak and dagger or what this is. If you go on, let me show you, buddy. I could not figure this out either. And you're not the only person who has mentioned this in the chat. Right here, buddy. Right here. When you use, okay, so search selected view. ncbc.nccourts.org/public/. To find it, you would just put Atlantic Coast Conference. Atlantic Coast Conference. And you would find the case Atlantic Coast Conference v. Florida State Board of Trustees, Atlantic Coast Conference v. Clemson. But if you put Atlantic Coast Conference in here now, all you get is the Atlantic Coast Conference v. Clemson. You don't see the Florida State. You have to put the word Florida State in here. You can't put Florida ST. You're not going to find the case. If you put FSU, you're not going to find the case. You got to put Florida State. Why that changed, I don't know. So that is why a lot of people haven't been able to find it. We've been scrambling all day. It wasn't there until just recently. So I hope that helps you out, buddy. I hope that helps you out. Rod Nix, it all comes down to discovery in Leon County. Yeah. Yeah. So let me see if I can. Boy, I don't know if I really. Oh boy, let's see. Okay, if you guys just give me a moment here, I'm going to show you as best I can. Got to give me a moment. Got to give me a moment. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Let's see here. it's just, here it is. This was the order on April 5th. It granted in part, denied in part, right? Judge Bledsoe granted the motion to seal, keep the redaction, amended complaint, ACC, some granted in part, some denied in part. And here, the court denies the ACC second motion to seal. The monetary amount in paragraph 64, the complaint, paragraph 73, the terms of grant of rights, fee payments, right fees, summary of claims, paragraphs 14, 43, 44, 70, 73, 78, 110. In the Exhibit B to ACC's reply. So we showed you the parts that, and now this is not just me saying it, this is other people saying who are a whole lot smarter than I am. The parts we showed you should have been unredacted. There is no monetary amount at all that was unredacted. Okay, let me try to find something else. I just want to show you guys something else. In other words, there was a lot of work done on this. There's a lot of work done. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of that entirely. Hold on, everybody. Come on, baby. One time. Here we go. Okay, that's nothing. Okay. So there it is. Basically, all we got in the court, in the filing today from the ACC complying with Judge Bledsoe's order is the unredaction phrases of grant of rights fee, grant of rights, rights of fee, and royalty. We did not get any monetary figures unredacted. Not even the numbers that Florida State was supposed to receive. The part that I wanted to know, just in case there was something, why would the monetary fee of how much the ACC was supposed to make, supposed to distribute, supposedly how much they've given Florida State, why is that redacted? Why is that redacted from the complaint? The ACC is saying in the complaint, this is from their amended complaint, January 12th, Florida State is saying this is how much Florida State has been paid, and this, they're saying Florida State has no reason to be trying to invalidate the Gore in 2024. Look how much they've been paid. Look how much they've been paid. All those numbers are still redacted from public view. Judge, in the order, Judge, they said this is, some of this is public knowledge. You know, we get these tax records. We know why. We know the conference payouts. We can do math. So why is the monetary figure still redacted? And how did this comply with Judge Bledsoe's orders? Because it doesn't. Okay, we're going to open up the phone lines. We're going to open up the phone lines. You can talk about your team, spring football game. A lot of them were played. A whole bunch more are going to get played on April 20th. Give me a call, 763-260-1333. What do you think about the portal, the news that is coming down? Let's go through some of it. And then I'm going to show you this video. Oh, man. Deion Hayes is in the portal. Deion Hayes, the edge rusher. 6'3", 255, 13 sacks. 13 sacks, led the ACC in pressure rate last year. 2 times ACC Play of the Week. We'll have one more year. Deion Hayes is in the portal, or officially going to be in the portal.
Call from
Big Ten, brother.
Big Ten, brother, the floor is yours. What do you got to say, good sir?
Here's what I got to say, and I talked to a couple of attorneys. When we heard that the judges got 13 pages out of 160, game over. 13 pages. Why aren't you turning over the whole 160? Turn it over.
Originally, but I believe he's got all the pages now. But yes, originally he only got 13, 12 pages. You are correct.
Yeah, I mean, right there that told me, okay, does he have them all now? Did you have access to what all of them say or not yet?
What was that last thing you said?
Do you have access to what all 160? Is that out somewhere, or are they still hiding that?
I don't have it.
Yeah.
I do not have it. I do not have it.
Yeah,
the grant of rights is out there, but not the media agreement.
Oh, okay. You know what's interesting? What this part's going to be interesting is obviously the North Carolina judge is going to lean towards North Carolina and the ACC. You can see it right now. And then the Florida judge is leaning towards obviously Florida State and against the ACC or ESPN. What's going to be interesting is if the North Carolina judge leans too much in favor of the ACC and then North Carolina files, how's he going to handle that?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's when it blows up because he's got to stay right in the middle because he doesn't know what North Carolina and North Carolina State are going to do. And if he says, well, we're going to keep going on with this and the grant of rights looks good and everything, you signed it, blah, blah, and then North Carolina State file, how's he going to backtrack?
That's a great question. I gotta believe if North Carolina filed,
it's over.
It's a different county in North Carolina than Mecklenburg County, but from the ACC's perspective, they're going to probably want that case to be handled in Mecklenburg County Court, along with Judge Bledsoe being the judge. But yeah, I don't know. And again, it's going to be the Board of Governors in the state of North Carolina that's going to give the actual okay to initiate litigation on behalf of North Carolina Chapel Hill and perhaps on behalf of North Carolina State. So I don't know what court they would run to. I don't know what county, if they would run to the county that North Carolina Chapel Hill's in, probably. Or
Mecklenburg?
I don't know.
And that's what I'm waiting for. I mean, Clemson, they're doing their thing. Florida State's doing their thing. And obviously, the more universities or states that jump in, the more complicated, more difficult it becomes for the ACC and ESPN. But I think the most interesting one is if North Carolina and North Carolina State say, look, the ship is sinking. Let's get off this thing before. Will they file? I don't know if it's called Chapel County or Chapel Hill County. Will they even file in a different county in North Carolina? That'll be great. I can't wait for that.
Yeah. I don't. We'll see. Now, we do. It wasn't last week. It was the week before. A couple weeks ago. We got some information here at Peek Around the Corner that there was a certain body at Chapel Hill that asked some questions to another body, the legal department, we'll just say that, at University of Chapel Hill. And there was communications. We know this because we've seen it. I'm not going to put it out. There was some communication back and forth in regards to how do we go ahead and what is the new procedures with the Board of Governors, the body of 24, to if we decide to do what we, if we decide to go forward, how do we get the Board of Governors to pull? There was communication. That's about as far as I'm going to go with it. So people are thinking about it. People are talking about it at Chapel Hill. But again, as we know, Big Ten brother, we do know that's the Board of Governors who has to initiate litigation. So they have to be convinced it's in the best interest of not just Chapel Hill, but the 17 public universities that they represent, i.e. North Carolina State, right? So
I get that part, but I think though if it's in the best interest if North Carolina leaves at North Carolina State, even let's say they break off and go to the Big 12, wouldn't that even be a better deal, leaving with North Carolina? Or hopefully I'd like to see that maybe they take, 60% for 3 years or 5 years until they become a full member if they go with North Carolina to the SEC or wherever they end up. Hopefully that works out for them, because I'd hate to see them split.
Yeah, it's there are obviously I still believe there's a chance that they could split, right?
Yeah.
But there's a very good chance they won't split, because I'm not going to say their hips are completely tied. But there's going to be a lot of strings that North Carolina Chapel Hill is going to have to cut for them to get separated from North Carolina State. More than I ever thought when we started talking about this over a year ago. But they have been proactive. The state interest of North Carolina, which heavily includes North Carolina State, has been active. I read an article from somebody, an Auburn beat writer, Auburn Tigers, talking about SEC possible expansion. It was published today, talking about North Carolina and Duke going to the SEC and possibly including North Carolina State. I think a lot of people do not know, still don't know, even in the South, North, West, East of this country, don't know the political lay of the land in the state of North Carolina. It has changed drastically since last October that, North Carolina State has a seat ahead of Duke when it comes to the state interests of the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, I think that's because they have actually more members on the board. North Carolina State has more members on the board.
Institution. Duke is private. So Duke, so that the Board of Governors does not look after the interests of Duke, nor Wake Forest.
Well, then why would North Carolina and North Carolina State care where Wake Forest and Duke end up then?
Well, they probably do to a certain extent, just because,
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm just saying, politically, North Carolina State is much more tied to North Carolina, even though the rivalry, the valuable rivalry of North Carolina Duke does tie them somewhat together financially when it comes to valuation. But the political part of this that cannot be ignored, and we have not ignored it here at Peek Around the Corner, the political part of it is North Carolina State is much closer to North Carolina than Duke.
See, I think that yeah, I've been following you with this, and you've been probably the most accurate person that I've seen with all this stuff. You get in a lot deeper than anybody else that I've seen. That's why we're interested in your show.
I appreciate it. You have to understand the lay of the land before you can figure out what's going on, right? Like the USC thing, when we reported that USC called the Big Ten and everything was going on in the spring of 2022 and nobody else was covering that story, we quickly learned the lay of the land in USC because it leaked out of Los Angeles. And we said, holy smokes, USC wants out. The athletic director hasn't said anything about the Pac-12 in 6 months. The big money guys were leaking to the Big Ten boosters. They gave us information. But a lot of people don't want to go into the deep weeds to figure out the lay of the land. You got to understand the lay of the land to be able to give people an accurate, as much as you can, an accurate peek around the corner. It's about the lay of the land. In North Carolina, Big Ten brothers, North Carolina, the lay of the land has changed dramatically since Jim Delaney was the Big Ten commissioner. They have changed dramatically since Bubba Cunningham was first announced as the athletic director. It has changed dramatically since Mike Gusowich left the university, the chancellor, to become the chancellor at Michigan State. It has changed dramatically, and I think some people still are not picking up on that.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is they're leaning more towards the SEC than the Big Ten.
As of right now, absolutely, because the lay of the land politically. Could that change?
Yeah, well,
could that change? It could, and if it does, we'll report it as quick as we can. But right now, yes, it's a lean SEC.
Wow, I'd like to see it go to the Big Ten. I think North Carolina and the Big Ten is like a glove, but they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to look out for their best interest and North Carolina's best interest. Hey, listen, Greg, great show, and thanks for answering all my questions.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Big Ten brother. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Have a nice night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Excellent call. Excellent call. So, Buddy Broxton, I'm glad I was able to help you again. It's, I don't know. I don't know what happened to the website. I don't know if it's Cloak and Dagger. I don't know what's going on. Again, if you want to look to find now we just went through it. I don't think we have to go through it again. Basically, the amended complaint that was filed today with the unredacted portions. Hold on.
Call from
Numbskull News.
Numbskull News. Can you just hold on for one moment, please?
No problem.
I appreciate it. Again, if you want to go look at it yourself, just go to ncbc.ncccourts.org/public/ but your search selected view for all of these weeks since we've been following everything that's going on in Mecklenburg County, and thus far it's it's ACC versus Florida State Board of Trustees, ACC versus Clemson. All you had to do was put in Atlantic Coast Conference, and you would get the 2 cases. And then you could go to the information, case participants, and then you go to the dockets to see what's the latest thing that has been filed. But suddenly, out of nowhere, the last couple of days, anytime you put Atlantic Coast Conference in here, the Clemson, the Atlantic Coast Conference V versus Clemson, that would show up, but not the Atlantic Coast Conference versus the Board of Trustees of Florida State. So then I was thinking, holy smokes, did it just drop off because this was appealed to the Supreme Court of North Carolina? Did this drop off because there's some secret mediation going on? But no, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. Now, if you put Florida State in instead of Atlantic Coast Conference, Florida State, you got to put in Florida and then STATE. ST doesn't work. Florida State, put it in there, and you can find the new filing. Mr. Numbskull News, thanks for your patience. Thanks for calling. What do you got to say, good sir? The floor is yours.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how the ACC became the CIA with all this redacted crap. I mean, it's not that serious, Greg. Oh, what is it? They made 5 cents more than last year. I mean, good grief. It just seems petty.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, in other words, when Judge Bledsoe ruled on all the other stuff and basically almost gave the ACC a clean sweep except for the fiduciary order, but everything else, ACC clean sweep. Then the next day, Judge Bledsoe, Mr. Numbskull News, Judge Bledsoe ruled that the ACC had to comply before or on April 15th, which is today. They complied today, that they had to unredact certain portions of it, right? So we went through it on a live show last night. We gave everybody a heads up. This was going to be unredacted. And some of that was going to be monetary figures, right? And when I talked about it on April 5th, people were saying, Greg, who cares? Who cares what it says about how much Florida State made, what they were promised, whatever? And I go, maybe there's something there. They redacted it. They don't want it in public view. It can't be part of trade secrets, ESPN. For some reason, they have it redacted. I want to know what that monetary value is. And I think maybe that's of interest. A lot of people disagree with me. Well, here we are, April 15th. It's still redacted. So what's the big deal? Why are they not showing it? I don't understand it. Go ahead, sir.
It's just the ACC. They want to file an extension. That's all it is, Greg. They just need to file that extension. They owe too much money. They know they're in over their head. FSU's got them by the goodies.
Yeah.
They know it's happening. They better get with ESPN and figure it out if they want to survive at least to 2036.
Yes.
I don't know. And one other thing I want to say, and unfortunately this doesn't have anything to do with the show. It's about TCU.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if TCU only wins one game as long as it's Utah. As long as we beat Utah, they can lose them all, Greg.
Yeah.
Mr. Wild Ute, that goes to him. I know he's listening. I know he's out there somewhere in the internet universe. We got something for you, pal, down here in Fort Worth, Texas. A nice, warm welcome.
Wow. Utah, TCU. That's going to be a rivalry, isn't it?
Oh, you ain't seen no holy war till you seen the Baptists get after it.
That's great. I love football. I love college football. As Immaculate says, see, I knew it. TCU's biggest rival in the Big 12 is their old rival, Utah.
That's
what are you
is.
thinking about TCU this year so far?
It's looking up.
Yeah?
Now, the quarterback thing, I still have a question on.
Really? You don't?
Who knows?
Josh Hoover, man, he played good last year.
He did. You got to see more in a couple games. So, I'm hopeful there. But if that kid goes off a little bit, like I said, Greg, I don't care if we lose every game, as long as we beat that team.
Yeah.
They're the new Texas in town.
Yeah.
Everyone loves them. Everybody loves them. Everyone's forgetting about old TCU up in here.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to remind everybody.
I don't want to get you upset, sir, but I seem to get everybody upset at least once a month. I think I'm going to have USC win in the Big 12. We'll see. We'll see.
You have Utah winning?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the chalk. There's a lot of chalk flying around.
Yeah.
And I go against most of it anyway, so there you go.
You seem like an anti-chalk type of guy, numbskull.
Well, you don't win a lot of money if you bet with the chalk. You got to go against the chalk to get the good odds and get that big payday.
Yeah, and that's why I'm Greg the Cooler. Well, I took Penn State to win the whole thing last year, so don't listen to me. That's for sure.
Well, it could have happened theoretically. On paper, it looked good.
Yeah. I got fooled. I got trapped once again.
Well, anywhere where the Eagles play, don't bet on them, Greg.
All right,
As
sir.
a Cowboy fan, I'm telling you.
Got it.
All right. Well, you have a good one, sir. Appreciate the show.
You too. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for calling. Numbskull
no
News
problem.
does a great job. Great guy, great to listen to. Rock and rant in honor of Numbskull being on in the previous call. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Numbskull, for being on. Appreciate the generosity, Mr. Hurricane, Rock and Rant. Thank you so much. Phone lines open, 763-260-1333. Now, again, look, I'm going to get yelled at. I'm going to get yelled at by all of you. Greg, why are you such an idiot? Why are you such an idiot? I don't know. That's a very good question. By the way, Rice cornerback transfer Jordan Dunbar. All Conference USA selection is picking up big portal interest. He's in the portal. Ole Miss, Louisville, Indiana, Oklahoma State, all looking at him.
Call from
BJ.
BJ, the floor is yours.
What's up, Greg? How's it going?
I'm doing well. We're covering a whole bunch of stuff here. Portal news and the ACC. I guess they complied to Judge Bledsoe's orders. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I'll just say this. When you go online, there's a lot of YouTube lawyers, right? And as it pertains to this case, I felt like, people were picking and choosing as they see it. And, but when it comes to this case, it is obvious home cooking is being served on both sides. Quite obvious. To me, it is. I saw your beginning portion where you read through the redacted part and the unredacted part. It is quite obvious that the ACC did not follow the judge's orders, but it's in North Carolina. There may not be no repercussions for them not following the orders, unless Florida State makes a big fuss about it. But what I wanted to talk to you about, or just comment on, is for the ACC to be so, planted in their position. I think there is some truth to the point where the ESPN may have communicated to the ACC, say, hey, if you don't have Florida State or Clemson, the deal that you currently have is not a deal. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I can kind of wrap my brain around them being so stubborn and just, supplanted in their position when it comes to the Florida State case. Unless I'm missing something here.
Well, You might not be missing anything. That might be exactly what's going on. But I keep going back. In the back of my brain, I keep thinking about how, and I should have wrote this down. I should have this, but I don't. But in one of the pleadings back and forth between Florida State and the ACC, the ACC did phrase it. I forget how they phrased it. I think it was, there is a commercial opportunity, right? They said there's a commercial opportunity, Florida State, and for us to settle this. And in other words, buying back your grant of rights, buying back your media rights. And then they seem to be on the precipice before the Clemson and ACC, before Clemson filed the lawsuit in Pickens County. According to ACC's own words, when they filed back in Mecklenburg County the day 2 days after Clemson filed first in Pickens County, ACC seemed to be on the precipice of going into some talks about Clemson's membership. And I forget what phrase they used. They did not use commercial opportunity. They used some other phrase to say, look, we're willing to have discussions. So maybe the ACC is willing to negotiate, but they're possibly starting at an extremely high number. And that's what made Clemson pull the trigger, like, this is ridiculous, whatever. But maybe they're not as hard-headed as we think they are. I don't know. What do you think, BJ?
So, two things that come to mind. What you just said came to mind. And another thing that came to mind was in Leon County, the ACC mentioned that, they would basically shop FSU's media rights around, right? And I'm thinking to myself, how would ESPN view it if ACC was shopping around FSU's media rights and they didn't get any of the cut? Because wouldn't they still have to pay the ACC the pro rata for each team? So it didn't really make sense to me. But it's kind of confusing on who owns the rights, who's going to financially benefit from the rights. How can the ACC get their rate if Florida State is not on ESPN? It just makes no sense to me. Does that make sense?
Well, again, I don't know what makes sense because I have not seen the media rights agreement. Traditionally, BJ, it's always been understood that not only does the conference own your school's media rights, as long as the term of the contract goes, but the media partners that entered into the media agreement also owns the distribution rights of each one of those schools as long as the term goes. That has always been traditionally the belief of what happens between the grant of rights and the media agreement. But according to Clemson and Florida State, but Clemson really made it a big point in their filing in Pickens County, is saying, no. If you read the media rights agreement, ESPN basically does not have our distribution rights if we decide just to leave the conference. And if we left the conference, the agreement between the ACC and ESPN still stays intact, and there's no damage done. And I don't know. I know that doesn't answer your question because I don't have an answer to your question. Go ahead.
Not to interrupt you. It's more rhetorical, if anything.
Yeah.
But it just baffles me that the ACC is taking the position they've taken, and my only assumption is ESPN must have told them to take that stance, and because as the ACC, I'm looking at if I get $250 million from Florida State, $250 from Clemson, that's $500 million.
Yeah.
But I'm getting well over that a year for this contract. How much less will ESPN pay me without those two, those two teams
Yes.
on the league.
BJ, I gotta think that it's all on a spreadsheet, right? In the ACC office. How many schools, how much would each pay, how much would ESPN value the remaining schools? You got all these lines, axis, X, Y, Z, whatever, and it's all got to meet somewhere to where the ACC schools could be made whole, the ones that are left over. It's all got to work for everybody. I don't know where it all ends up. I don't know what that number is. But you got to think the ACC's got a number for every type of scenario, and they've got evaluations from ESPN, right? If they lose this school, what's our value? How much would each school make under an ACC's new agreement? They have to have all those numbers figured out, don't you think?
Oh, yes, they should have it. Mm-hmm. But, it could be locked in a file that they can't ship.
Yeah. No. That's between Jim Phillips and the media companies. I don't even think that's between Jim Phillips and the president of Virginia, the chairman of the board. I think that's just basically in Jim Phillips' vault in his own office. That's not getting out anywhere, I don't think.
Oh yeah, that's true. And I think his contract is up in a couple of years anyway, so I don't see the bringing him back. But lastly, I'll just say this: the what do you call that? The redacted pieces to the agreement. I don't understand why they redacted grant of rights. I don't see the importance of that phrase or that phrase.
Yeah, I don't. They redacted grant. They redacted grant of rights fees, rights fee, and royalty. But that's all been unredacted. But the monetary figures are still redacted. So that's where we're at right now.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You got it.
As always, love your show.
Appreciate it. Thank you, BJ. Great call once again. Okay, we're going to take just a little bit of a timeout from college football. This is a college football YouTube channel. Okay? YouTube, this is a college football YouTube channel. We're just going out of the box just a little bit. Just a little bit. I want to show you guys. Now, again, you guys are going to say, well, great. Great. You are a little bit nuts. Well, yes, I am. Yes, I am. This is this video. Some people say it's debunk. Maybe it is. I don't think it is. This come out of Sequoia Park, California. Sequoia Park, California. There's at least 4 different videos of this object. So this is not just one person taking a video. There's a video of it where it is stabilized. I'm going to show you. That's the second video I'm going to show you. That's the second video I'm going to show you. The first video is from a witness number 2 in which it's not stabilized. And now I know look, people think it's a storm trooper balloon that's up in the air. Storm trooper balloon. Is it a storm trooper balloon? Is it? Let me show you the video. I'm going to have the volume on here. Again, Sequoia Park, California. There's at least 4 different videos of this from 4 different people. So this is not like somebody, one person, it's a fake I mean, it might be, I don't know what this is. Okay, let's show the first video. Put down your comments. Give me a phone call afterwards. We're just having a little bit of fun. We did not get what we wanted to see out of the unredacted parts. Right? We did not get what we wanted to see out of the unredacted parts of the filing in Mecklenburg County. So we're going to have a little bit of fun, possibly some seriousness. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. Sequoia, California.
Is it a cross? Heck no, it's not a cross. What is that?
Hey, yeah, what does it look like? Recording, guys?
Like a...
Let me see it.
Straight up and down.
Dude, it looks like a dude in a suit. It looks like Iron Man. What the heck? Jonathan, what in the world?
Probably the super. What is that? Maldakians. Might be the super people, Maldakians. Yeah.
I don't know nothing about no Maldakians.
One straight up and down.
Might be them.
That way.
Oh yeah. You'll know when you guys see them.
What is it? Now, you can see, if I've seen video of the Michelin, I've seen videos of a stormtrooper balloon up in the air. I've seen a video of the Michelin Man balloon up in the air.
I think we got Maldakians.
You can clearly see their balloons. You think this is a balloon? What's with the distortion? What is with the distortion? It looks more like a hologram, not a balloon.
Martin.
Jonathan, what the heck is that, dude?
I don't know, it looks like a person almost.
It almost looks like a person, right?
It looks like a person almost. Yeah, exactly.
Is that some fancy hologram that someone's putting up there?
But then when it turns, it doesn't. It's really odd.
Or is it something from another dimension that's trapped? What do you think?
I mean, it appears.
Look, I'm just putting plasma. I think I need a drink. A man in a jetpack. Look, and I'm going to show you guys something else here. I get it. Greg is nuts. Greg is absolutely nuts. This is another witness, another video of it. Again, there's at least 4 of them out there. And this is supposedly they stabilized the video. I wanted to show you the first one. Because the first one that doesn't have any stabilization in it still has a distortion. Like a gravity distortion. I don't know. Call me crazy. This is another separate video, separate person, separate location, okay?
Actually, I don't know.
God, I can't even see it. What the hell is wrong with
No,
it's stabilized, up and down. So it's not shaking.
No, it has something on the side, Robert.
We gotta get a picture of it.
Oh.
Yeah?
It's not a balloon. Is it?
Sorry.
Why would a balloon look that? Why all the distortion if it's a balloon?
Probably the
What is that?
super people. Maldakians. Might be the super people, Maldakians. It's holding its position straight up and
What's
down.
projected, Miles?
One straight up and down and staying that way.
If this is projected, we're going to see a lot more of this.
When you guys see them.
We're going to
It's
see
like
a
a-
lot more of this.
This looks like a person with his arm sticking out.
John?
No, I don't see it at all.
Oh, there it is, to the left. Right there. Oh, yeah.
Now, it definitely is not a guy from a
Right
jet,
over here, look
with a
at John.
jetpack.
Angela.
This was descending very slowly.
Oh my God! Get my left nut.
But again, most people who are looking at it, it's like, why the distortion? Why the distortion? It's more complicated than just a balloon. Is it some new hologram that people can put up in the air?
I don't know. It looks like a person almost.
It almost looks like a person, right?
Yeah, it looks like a person almost.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw his hair.
There is no official explanation.
I mean,
No,
It appears like a
I'm
person,
not
but
buying
it's
that it's a balloon
an
because
anomaly.
I'll show you why I don't think it's a
Like, yeah, the
balloon.
marshmallow man, but like with a, he's got something in it. Oh, low, you're low.
You just got it.
Look at the distortion. Look at the color around it, distorted.
I know it's here somewhere, but it's flying. It's flying.
All right, let me show you something else. There's at least 4 different videos. Of course, now I can't find what I want to show you. Hold on. Hopefully I have. Okay, here we go. Okay, here is a picture, a video, a short video. People thinking, well, this is a UFO, very strange object. This is a balloon. This is a balloon. No distortion. No distortion. It's a balloon. But the other object, Sequoia, California, I don't know. I just wanted to show you that. Very, very interesting. Maybe it's Jim Phillips or Swafford. Daniel, here's the thing though. Humans are wired to see faces in humans, even if they don't exist. There's truth to that. When you look up at a cloud, I'm seeing a face or I'm seeing my dog. My dog that passed away, one or the other. One or the other. Now we're getting into some good stuff, Greg. Stupid Android camera. I don't know. The Chinese fly balloons over the USA at will. It's not a balloon. Okay, I'm going to open up the phone lines. It is 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. You can talk about that video that you just saw. Tell me what it is. Talk about your team. Whatever you want to talk about.
Call from
Billy.
Billy, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
Thanks for having my call, Greg. I want to, I can't get over this redaction. If a judge orders something and you don't respond and do what the judge says, isn't that contempt of court?
Yeah, but yes, but the judge must have been okay with whatever was delivered to him because it was released, right? It was filed. So the judge must have took it.
Yeah, but doesn't he have to issue some kind of statement?
I'm going to keep checking it. I'm going to keep checking if there is another statement from the judge or some sort of order or maybe, I don't know. I'm befuddled. Again, this was released right before we went on live. I was scrambling to compare what I showed you guys last night to what I'm showing you today. It definitely did not unredact any of the monetary figures, and that's definitely in Judge Bledsoe's order. I don't have an answer for you, sir.
Well, here's my thing. What is the big secret of what they're paying Florida State?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What's the big secret that the money that Florida State's supposed to be receiving? I mean, why would that be?
I don't know.
How about if you took Florida State's tax returns on what they were paid from the ACC?
Yeah, you know, it's
and
all
compare
public.
it to what that contract says.
Yeah.
I think there's a problem.
Yeah. See, that's why I was interested, because what Florida State actually received from the conference, we know that. We can find that out if we don't know it. It's all in tax records. But what was promised? What was the consideration for Florida State to sign that extended grant of rights, to go from 2027 to 2036, where they promised a monetary figure when it came to the ACC networks? That's what I wanted to find out, and it's still redacted.
I think the longer this goes on, the worse it looks for the ACC, because there's just a lot of things that just don't add up, and it's just simple things.
Yeah, I agree with you, sir. I agree, Billy. I don't know the answer, man. I don't. I was hoping and I was expecting more, because according to the judge orders, which I showed earlier today on the show, we were supposed to get more, but we did not. Don't know the answer. Maybe I will have an answer for you later tonight or tomorrow. We shall see.
Yeah, I think if I'm Florida State, I really ask a question here real soon, saying, "Hey, what's going on here?"
We may get something from Florida State. We may get something here. Maybe we'll get some sort of pleading, some more filing from Florida State. We shall see. If we do, we'll have it live here at Peek Around the Corner.
I think if nothing else, I think next week you may find out what's in there.
Yeah.
Maybe all of it.
Yes, on the 22nd or shortly thereafter. Absolutely correct, Billy.
Well, I enjoy your show, Greg, and I watch it almost every time I get a chance. I'm going to try to join, and thanks for having my call.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, Billy. Call again, sir. Thank you. Kyle Visser did not like that video that I showed. Greg, this is interesting, but you're hurting your credibility. See Genetics 56 and all more. This reminds me of that video that was made.
Call from
Crab Cakes and Football.
Crab Cakes and Football. Can you just hold for a moment, please?
Sure can.
I do appreciate it. This reminds me of the video that was made. I did not make it. I was given it to. It was given to me, and I put it out there. It was a video of all the things that Altamore said about how I was lying throughout the whole Big 12, Pac-12 deal. He was accusing almost every college football writer. It was a video of all his tweets, a lot of his tweets during the Big 12, Pac-12 saga. And one of those tweets, he says something like, Flugar is talking about UFOs or something like that. And you guys listened to him about the Big 12 poaching the Pac-12. And again, history kind of, you guys know how that played out. So no, I don't think it hurts my credibility to show a video for that was taken 4 different people. Something in the air that we don't know what it is. It might have been a balloon that could distort visual cameras. Maybe It's a hologram. I think it's interesting. I don't think it hurts my credibility at all. My credibility has long been I don't think it hurts my credibility at all. I'm sorry, Kyle. I got to completely disagree with you. Crab cakes in football, Mr. Terrapin. What's going on in spring football for the Terrapins? What do you got to say,
I haven't
sir?
got too many updates on the Maryland side yet. I've been looking for it, but principalities and powers in the air, man. My friend, Ephesians 6. If you ever know anything about the Bible, that's probably what that was. And as for the ACC and the Florida State, that's home cooking right there. Whenever the judge allows them to defy orders, so now FSU has proof of home cooking from the ACC. Because if you or I or anybody else in the audience, if the judge said, hey, I want this unredacted, bring it to me this way, and we don't, we get a contempt of order put on us at minimum. So I think this is probably going to end up backfiring on the ACC more than it's up. Because if you notice, the only thing they released, which kind of makes them look a little good, hey, you got the royalty payment, you got this, you got that, got the other. But they left the hard financials out because that's going to be the reality of the situation of, although they get all this, they only make this amount of money. So compared to everybody else, they're still going to be X a million behind.
Yeah.
So, that's my thoughts on that. Are you going to be doing one of your spotlights on Maryland anytime soon?
Possibly, maybe. I get a probably.
I mean, no hurry. I'm just wondering if you are or not, because I'm,
possibly.
Now that we're actually winning a little bit, I like to actually hear what you got to say.
It's not based on wins or losses. No, we've covered. We're doing a scatter shot. We'll see what I can do. I get about 4 or 5 requests a day. Are you going to do my team next, or are you going to do my team next week? I don't have a set schedule. I don't have a set schedule.
Yeah, whenever.
Yep.
But I was just curious.
Yep.
All right, man. That's all I had for you. I was just throwing my 2 cents.
And by the way, our spring spotlight, we're just kind of getting marinated on these teams. We've got to go through the transfer portal. Things are going to change again. And then we'll see where we're at in early summer, middle summer, into August. Then we're going to lay down our official Greg the Heater predictions for 2024. So don't take the spring spotlight too seriously.
No, I'm still waiting to see who our quarterback's going to be. We got Cam Edge, you got Billy Edwards, you got Champ Long, and you got that dude that Morris that he transferred.
MJ Morris.
It seems like they're and he is, from my understanding, he's not even getting that many reps at the moment. He's getting like 13.
I don't know what's going on with.
It's weird. So
yeah,
I'm not
it was
Mike
a
Loxley.
weird.
I don't have the money on Mike Loxley, so I have to trust he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it was a weird ending for MJ Morris at North Carolina State, and it sounds like it's a weird beginning at Maryland for MJ Morris. So I don't know what's going on with them.
So, all right, man.
All right.
I'll go ahead and let you go, and I'll continue listening. Good show.
Appreciate it. Great call, sir. Ryan Willie, the evil badger. I knew it wasn't going to be revealed. The monetary figures. Ryan Willie knew it. Thank you for your generosity, Ryan. I do appreciate it. Mr. Evil Badger, thank you so very much. And Mick Stevens, I keep posting this. I do apologize. Mr. TCU. You are hereby Cloak and Dagger official knighted once again. Thank you, Mr. Horn Frogs, for your second month of being an early peak Cloak and Dagger member. We dropped episode 33 this morning. If you haven't watched it yet, if you're a member and if you haven't watched it yet, go watch episode 33. Mick Stevens is talking about it. Tarleton recruiting West Texas to join Conference USA along with them, both governed by Texas A&M board. Thank you, Mick, for the membership once again. And if you want to be a member of our show, just go to the link provided in the description box, hit the link, hit the join button, and become a Cloak and Dagger member. Membership only episodes. We dropped episode 33 this morning. A little bit of nugget of information on Conference USA's plans. Option 1, Option 2. Thank you, Mick Stevens, Mr. Horn Frog. Appreciate it. Appreciate the generosity, sir. Okay. Phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. Greg, there's a lot of Texas A&M rumors going around. Feinbaum, among others, are saying they might seek Big Ten membership. What do you say? You know, I did ask about Texas A&M stuff.
Call from
Rob.
Rob, can you hold on for just a moment, sir?
Yes, sir.
I do appreciate it. Daniel, I did ask over a year ago. And I was told, no, Texas A&M is not leaving the SEC. Vanderbilt is not leaving the SEC. Missouri is not leaving the SEC. And I haven't asked again. I'm not going down that rabbit hole unless somebody tells me something. I did listen to Feinbaum's comments. I'm not reading it the way other people read it. Unless there was a comment, unless there was more to it that I just haven't heard. This was when Paul Feinbaum was talking about Texas, looking at Texas A&M's success and wanting to be a part of it. And Texas called Sankey, and I don't think Texas A&M is leaving the SEC for a couple reasons. One, yeah, Texas A&M is probably always going to be a little hot that Texas joined the SEC, but Texas A&M, man, they've got all their other rivals in the SEC. They got the sports that they love in the SEC, where they want them, not just football, but baseball. I give no credence to any of these rumors. Of all the people I talked to, nobody has said to me, look out for Texas A&M to the Big Ten. I know other people have. I'm fine with people speculating on it or even saying there's a chance. That's all good. But I'm definitely not. It's not. Texas A&M realignment has not been a part of my monologue since the start of the show, and I don't see a future that it is going to be a part of any of my monologues or my reporting on it. Will I report? Will I talk? If somebody writes about it and I find it interesting, I'll cover it, because we cover things outside of our silo here, what we believe is what's going to happen. But I don't think there's any smoke or fire to the Texas A&M rumors joining the Big Ten. Thank you for your patience, caller. The floor is yours.
I just wanted to ask, I'm curious about what you touched on at the end of the show yesterday about the ACC. Phillips pushing off the extension from 21 to 25. I can't understand why I do that. I mean, either he's not smart or he's not honest. There's not a third choice that I see, but maybe you have one. I mean, why would he agree to do that?
Why, if I was Jim Phillips, why would I agree to do that?
Yeah, are you scared? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help him. It doesn't help the teams.
Yeah. The only reason I would do that if I was Jim Phillips to extend that deadline is, one, my fear would if I didn't extend that deadline, ESPN was going to walk away in 2027, but I'm going to give ESPN a little bit more time, so hopefully they don't walk away. And number two, maybe I should have gotten something back in consideration. If I'm going to extend the deadline, you're going to have to drop a couple $1 million in each of these coffers of my ACC schools. If you want to extend the deadline, okay, sure, but you got to give us something in return. That would be another reason why I think Jim Phillips would do it. But if he did do that, and if Florida State did get a couple $1 million more one-time payment, or if Clemson got it, if every ACC school got it, then I would believe that they would have had to vote on it. And did they vote to give Jim Phillips the ability to extend the contract? I don't know the answer to that, but I do believe Florida State has not come out and said, yes, we did vote for Jim Phillips to extend that deadline. I have not heard Clemson come out and say, yes, we did vote to extend that deadline. I haven't heard any ACC school, any official, anybody come out and say, yes, we voted to give Jim Phillips the ability to extend the deadline.
I mean, it just seems logical that Phillips, if that happened, if everybody had some financial gain from it, he'd put it out. I mean, otherwise the optics are he looks stupid or he looks corrupt. And he's not. Does he work for ESPN or does he work for the ACC?
Well, he works for ACC, and he works for trying to keep the conference together, thriving. That's what he's hired to do, right? He doesn't work for ESPN. So yeah, hopefully, I don't. You bring up a great question.
I mean, it's like he's Captain Smith on the Titanic here. I mean, it's just he's. I don't know. He just baffles me. I'm fascinated with that decision as much as anything. So anyway, I'll let you go. So I appreciate your thoughts and enjoy the show.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Great call. Great question. Great comment. Kyle Visser with some breaking news. Just received a breaking news alert from CBS Sports. Clark is the first pick of the WNBA draft. That is a shocker. The Indiana Fever. Miss Clark is going. There it is. There it is. The Athletic. 7 minutes ago. Breaking news. Thank you, Kyle Visser. Outstanding collegiate career. Did a lot of wonderful things, not just with the Iowa Hawkeyes, but for the sport, for opportunities for women athletes in women's basketball, college women's basketball. She was unbelievably successful. Did not win that championship, but she won in a lot of other ways, I tell you that. She doesn't have to go far from home. That's true, Jamie. Very, very true. Very, very true. If you're new to the show, please hit the subscribe button. Smash the like button. And if you subscribe to the show, you got to get your notifications on because we can come on live at any time. Tomorrow is going to be a wild and crazy day. The portal is officially open. And we're going to be coming on live at some point. there's going to be some shocking news in the portal tomorrow. It just is. And when it happens, we're coming on live. So buckle up, brace for impact. We don't know what's going to happen. Sure, there's been some announcements today. And we've gone through a couple of them. I'll show it to you real quick. Just a couple of them. We talked about Deion Hayes. Pittsburgh edge, led the ACC edge rusher. Deion Hayes got 1 year of eligibility left, led the ACC in pressure rate last year. 2-time ACC Player of the Week. Deion Hayes is going in the portal. He's planning on going in the portal. And then you got Rice cornerback Jordan Dunbar, who's going in the portal, who's gotten a lot of interest. A lot of interest. Offers from Temple, UTEP, Marshall, UMass, interest from Ole Miss, Louisville, Indiana, and Oklahoma State. A whole lot of interest. So there's just a couple guys, but there are going to be some big names coming out tomorrow. There's going to be some shocking moment tomorrow. No question about it. We talked about KLS, Keandre Lambert-Smith. He's in the portal. Now, it'd be interesting to see where he goes next year. He had about 55, mid-50 catches last year, but he sort of disappeared. Sort of disappeared at the end of the year. And then this year, he started not showing up to spring practice. And if you go, Expedition Greg, I believe you're a Buckeye fan. If you go check out Penn State message boards and podcasters, they're not all that unhappy that KLS is leaving, which I find kind of fascinating. You would think you'd want your leading receiver, Drew Aller, coming back, right? Your two running backs coming back, Allen and Singleton. But they're not, they're okay with him leaving. So I don't know if there's some locker room issues or if he just kind of, I don't know. Joe Z, when will Western Kentucky join the MAC? Well, we talked about Western Kentucky Hilltoppers just a little bit in our membership episode, Joe Z. Go check it out. You are a member. Go check it out this morning, episode 33. Jamie Thornton's got to run, and so do I. We're going to be closing up this live show. Spring portal season is upon us, and we're going to be covering it live. So before you leave the chat, please hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done so, open up your notifications because we come on live at any time here at Peek Around the Corner. And please smash the like button if you've liked our content today. Happy Monday, Rebel Leader. Big Dog Daddy, thank you so much for your incredible generosity once again to this channel. Thank you so very much, Mr. Husky. Tomorrow we're going to come on live. It's probably, there's a very good chance that we're going to be coming on live in the morning. But whenever the big first news breaks on the portal, and it's probably going to be in the morning, we're going to be going live. We're just going to be talking portal, anything else that happens. Maybe we'll get an answer on why some of that stuff was not unredacted in the amended complaint that was ordered by Judge Bledsoe in Mecklenburg County. Why did that happen today? Some of it did. Some of it was unredacted, but the monetary figures was not. We'll try to get an answer for you tomorrow. And we'll be talking about Portal, and of course, everything's leading up to April 22nd, Leon County, Part 2, in front of Judge C. Cooper. We're going to be covering that live. Leon County, ACC versus Florida State. It's going to be fascinating to watch. We're going to have a live stream in the courthouse. We can do that legally at YouTube. We did not get in trouble last time we did it on April 9th because it's a publicly broadcasted in the courtroom. Florida laws, we're good. We did a live stream in the courthouse April 9th. We're going to do it again April 22nd in the morning. So again, subscribe to our channel. Open up your notifications. The party has just begun. College football's peek around the corner. I want to thank the incredible generosity, Big Dog Daddy, and everybody else that gave us a donation to help us keep the lights on here in the studio. The great comments throughout the day, the great phone calls. I appreciate it. Again, I got some people kind of upset that I showed the video of that certain object that was up above Sequoia, California. I do apologize if I offended anybody. I just wanted to show that. Just interesting. A little bit of entertainment. It's okay. I think everybody survived. Hopefully everybody did. Well, we'll see you again very shortly. Probably early tomorrow morning. Keep your head on a swivel as we go spring portaling in the game that we love, college football. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.